Do you often get complaints from people about your character? Do people avoid you because they can't put up with your behavior any longer? Well, the truth is that you might not really be a bad person. Perhaps it's just trauma from terrible experiences you've had in the past that's causing you to react to situations the way you do. Experts say that traumatic events can have long-term effects that are so subtle they can be impossible to recognize without professional help. The worst part about this is that many people go about their daily lives unaware of how their traumatic experiences affect them and their behavior. Sometimes it can even be hard to tell where trauma ends and a poor character begins. So how do you know if you're only suffering the effects of a post-traumatic experience? Well, from withdrawing socially, distrusting people, and other less obvious signs, here are some of the most common signals that your past trauma might just be affecting your life. Please ensure to stick around till the end of this video, as the last sign will leave you totally shocked. 1. You withdraw socially. Withdrawing socially and cutting off other people can seem rude from the outside. After all, the people you're cutting off care about you and want to spend time with you. If you've done this before, don't worry. Withdrawing socially is one of the most common responses people have to trauma. People who have experienced a traumatic event have a lot on their minds. It can be exhausting. This constant fatigue makes socializing with other people difficult, especially if they don't understand what you're going through. If you find yourself avoiding people for no reason, this could be a sign that you suffer from untreated trauma. Make sure to subscribe. 2. You are hypervigilant. Hypervigilance is another effect of trauma that can make social interactions difficult. People who have experienced trauma tend to be incredibly cautious, always waiting for something catastrophic to happen. Hypervigilance can give the person a sense of control they feel they lack otherwise. However, hypervigilance can be off-putting, especially in social situations. Hypervigilance means you are constantly on edge, waiting for something to go wrong. Traumatized individuals in this state are liable to suffer from emotional outbursts or may cut people off from their lives. If you react in such a way due to your trauma, know you aren't a bad person. You simply need to learn how to notice things that can trigger a trauma response. 3. You suppress your emotions. Many people who have suffered a traumatic experience struggle to feel emotions. Some even claim they feel dead inside. Emotional suppression is another common sign of trauma that can make relationships difficult. These individuals may try to push down their emotions as they don't feel ready to confront them. This suppression can lead to a flat affect and a lack of expression, which other people may find annoying, strange, or worrying. While suppressing your emotions is not wrong, it's also not a healthy response to trauma, which is why it's so important to seek out professional help. Share with us your thoughts in the comments section. 4. You cannot tolerate conflict. If your trauma is based on a previous relationship, for example, an abusive partner, you may find yourself particularly sensitive to conflict. As a matter of fact, you may try to avoid it entirely. Avoidance is another common reaction to trauma that others can misunderstand when looking at it from the outside. While avoiding conflict may be necessary and even comforting, doing so consistently can strain your relationships. Sometimes you must be able to hash out a disagreement so your relationship can survive. The importance of knowing how to argue properly is why we recommend checking in with a qualified therapist at onlinetherapy.com. Follow the link in the description to learn more and see how online therapy can help you overcome your trauma. 5. You have an addiction. Do you find yourself obsessing over a new hobby every few months? Do you struggle to control your alcohol consumption? Addiction is another common response to a traumatic event. Many of the symptoms of a traumatic experience can be hard to manage, which is why many choose to self-medicate using drugs or alcohol. As a matter of fact, children who experience trauma were 5 times more likely to suffer from alcoholism as adults than their peers. Self-medicating can be comforting, but it's not the correct response and may lead to even worse health problems in the future. 6. You have trouble changing. One of the most frustrating parts of living with trauma is wanting to change, but feeling unable to. Change can be scary, especially for a trauma survivor. The routines they've crafted for themselves likely give them comfort and security, which can make changing them terrifying. If you're someone who suffers from trauma or know someone who does, the best advice we have is to be patient. Take small steps every day, and you'll be stunned at the progress you can make. If you like this one, keep watching to learn about 7 signs someone is faking their love to you. We'll talk to you soon.